the poorest city in Britain, Nottingham. Hello there, it's great to have you here. We warmly welcome you to this informative and entertaining channel. Today, we're focusing on Nottingham as the poorest city in the UK. It's no longer news, even though it comes as a surprise to many that the place with the lowest earnings in England, before housing and other costs, is Nottingham. This video highlights has put Nottingham on this list for the past 12 years as the poorest city in the UK. Please stick around and let's enjoy it. As usual, we request that you please remember to do the favour of sharing this video and kindly volunteer your comments. About Nottingham. Let's start off by reminding some of our viewers, particularly those watching from outside the UK, about what or where the City of Nottingham is. Nottingham is a city and unitary authority area in Nottinghamshire, in the East Midlands of England. The city is located 33 miles southeast of Sheffield and 45 miles northeast of Birmingham. Those who know the city or have been there will fondly remember Nottingham as the legendary home of Robin Hood and as home to the bicycle, lace-making and tobacco industries. Nottingham is often referred to as the county town of Nottinghamshire. As a settlement, it was granted its city status charter in 1897 on the occasion of Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee celebrations. In the 2021 census, Nottingham's population was 323,632. But the wider conurbation with the addition of many of the city's suburbs recorded a population of 768,638. Given that figure, Nottingham is the largest urban area in the East Midlands. It's the second largest in the Midlands as a whole, with a population of 919,484. As a metropolitan area in combination with Derby, it has a population of 1,610,000. Here's something puzzling, however. This metropolitan economy ranked the 7th largest in the United Kingdom based on its GDP of $50.9 billion as of 2014, ranking second to Birmingham on the list of the Globalization and World Cities Research Network. Yet, there's so much poverty here. But why? Is it really the poorest? As we continue in this discussion, you'll get to see what some residents of this city say about their city. You'll also see government figures and figures from other sources. The city's authorities are not about to agree that their city is the poorest, so they put out some defence. What is their defence? What residents experience? We came across a 58-year-old resident of this city who has been living on Employment and Support Allowance, ESA, for 19 years because of poor health that has rendered him unemployable and subsequently jobless. He says the worst thing about being jobless and having no money is the feeling of isolation. In just 1 year that he described as particularly tough, he has built up some £2,000 of debt. He's now forced to cut back to pay it off. It sometimes can be as bad as having to go a day or two without eating. In some weeks, when he has absolutely nothing, he relies on the help of his friends. According to him, it's so horrible that normal problems people deal with every day elsewhere get exaggerated in Nottingham because people are at such a low point in their lives. That's from the angle of a man. But poverty in Nottingham doesn't discriminate by gender. We came across another person visiting the city's food bank, a 53-year-old woman. She admits she has many times rifled through supermarket bins at night in search of anything to feed her and her son. She's also disabled, and her disability living allowance and benefits were cut because the authority is broke. She and her son now live on about £145 a week. She expresses disappointment and feelings of embarrassment because she can't provide for her son basic things such as shoes and a uniform. We find another 65-year-old retiree resident walking past the food bank. This elderly man has lived in the city all his life and has no choice other than to stay on. He feels so sorry for younger people hoping to get jobs in the city. He wasn't among those surprised by the city's position on the ranking in the figures released by the government. He expects that since much of the industry in the city has been lost, We also found a younger woman, a 29-year-old from the Meadows. She agrees with the figure about their city because, from her experience, it's hard to find a well-paying job in Nottingham. According to her, those without a degree or looking for a part-time job have very limited options in the city. As a mother of one and part-time carer, she said the wage she earns for what she does is ridiculous. Because of that, she has stopped going out and buying makeup because she can no longer afford such luxuries. A few days before that time, she had to borrow money from her friend's grandpa to get by. Food, bills and rent are simply beyond her. Government and other figures. According to government data, Nottingham is the poorest city in Britain, ranking the whole country based on gross disposable household income (GDHI. The government found Nottingham at the bottom of the table. By the way, what is GDHI? It refers to the amount of money remaining in households after taxes and benefits. So if Nottingham is at the bottom of the table, it's definitely the poorest. This didn't start today. As far back as 2013 and 2014, residents of Nottingham earned, on average, £12,445 a year after tax through jobs or benefits. Only Leicester finished below Nottingham in those years. Later, things continued in that trajectory for Nottingham, such that by 20 it conveniently occupied the bottom of the table and has since remained there. By the year 2020, Kensington and Chelsea and Hammersmith and Fulham had the highest GDHI per head of £60,277. That was 3 times the UK average. In contrast, the residents of Nottingham earn more than £7,000 less than the national average. In comparison, people in nearby Leicester and Derby earn £12,560 and £14,556. In further afield Birmingham, the GDHI is £14,128, while in Greater Manchester and Leeds, residents take home an average of £16,106 and £16,603 respectively. In defence and rejection, Nottingham City Council, in defending its city, has argued the ONS statistics are misleading. It named several factors, such as small city boundaries that excluded suburbs and a high student population, as making the figures look worse than the reality. The council argued that the results have been skewed by geography and demography. However, the City Council agreed that there are many low-income households in Nottingham. It's just that the statistics are a snapshot rather than a reflection of the reality of the resident population. According to the council's own findings, more than 50% of the people living in Nottingham City live in surrounding districts. It referred to affluent suburbs such as West Bridgford. If earnings in these areas were included, they would be a more meaningful figure of £16,000 per person. That being so, Nottingham would have moved to 56th position rather than the bottom of the table. The council also rejected the finding on the grounds that students are generally low earners and not much should be expected of them. Therefore, counting students from the University of Nottingham and Nottingham Trent University may also have affected the results. Tactful admission of facts. Still, many people are struggling with poverty. A senior official and specialist service manager in Nottingham, however, said she had observed a deteriorating condition of the city over the past 9 years. She attributed this situation to welfare reform, unstable work, and a rise in zero-hours contracts. She said today, they're dealing with a higher proportion of priority debts, unlike 20 years ago when they were dealing with credit cards. The City Council tax is the biggest one, with magistrates recovering TV licence debts. She agreed that more and more people in Nottingham now struggle to make essential payments. The fact is that all the large industries, such as rally and cigarette factories that were paying handsome wages back in those days, have gone. The senior citizens mentioned earlier reminisced on the lace market, where they used to make their famous lace. According to them, all that is now just bars and accommodation set up for those who can afford them. We understand that there's still a lot to say about Nottingham as the poorest city in Britain. please let us continue this discussion in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.